Well, I said to the players after it was a terrible feeling. The fact that we played badly and let a lot of people down, and it wasn't a feeling that we liked. So the best thing to do was to try and get back to another final as quickly as possible. So the players deserve a great credit for achieving that the first time they asking. Because we did say actually that day the best chance would be, the first time it comes round in the Coca-Cola Cup. So we've done it.
Everybody was so disappointed because all the expectations of the 8 months that I'd been at the club, everybody was saying, everything's gone right for Jim Jeffries in his first year. Hopefully we can just end it with a trophy. We performed fairly evenly for the first half, going in at 1-0 down after losing Gary Locke so early, and then just came out second half, and you cannot legislate for those kind of mistakes. Shield has made one mistake in 9 months, so that's good performance as far as I'm concerned if a player can get that kind of commitment.
Gilles Rousset gifted a goal to Brian Laudrup, and he's never been allowed to forget the moment of misery.
People remember more my fault in final than all my season, but that's part of the job. Goalkeeper is a hard position, and if you do mistake, it's goal. I do it in final. I lost a goal, a bad goal, but it's a past now. I'm looking forward for the next final, and hopefully we can win a trophy for Hearts.
And there's another French accent in the Hearts dressing room. It belongs to Stéphane Paille, a former Player of the Year in France, whose goal sealed the Coca-Cola Cup semi-final win against Dundee. He was a Portuguese Cup winner with Porto. Now he wants a winner's medal in Scotland.
All the time it's possible to win against Rangers, Celtic, Liverpool. Against the football, it's all the time difficult for the two teams. And the final cup is not the same game, the different game. And it's possible, yeah.
Colin Cameron knows it's possible. He wore number 10 for Raith Rovers when they beat Celtic in the final 2 years ago. He says Jimmy Nicholl gave everyone at Raith belief that victory could be achieved.
Yeah, he had a lot to do with it. He put confidence throughout the team, and we've got the same in Jim Jeffries. He gets the confidence going throughout the team. We've got a very strong squad now compared to maybe what they had last year, and if players are getting injured, we've got players to come in and do an equal job.
Jim Jeffries has proved he knows how Rangers can be beaten, despite the heavy Hampden defeat in May. He did it as Falkirk manager and did it twice last season as Hearts boss. Defender David Weir was with Jeffries at Brockville and now at Tynecastle.
He instills in you that you had good players, and on your day, if you play well, you can beat any team in this league, which is probably the most important thing. Over the season, you're up against it, but in a one-off game, you've got a great chance, especially with the quality players that we've got at this club. There's always a chance on a one-off day that we can beat anybody.
But Hearts failed to beat Rangers in their only meeting with the Ibrox team so far this season. They lost 3 goals and 4 players. It was an afternoon that the Tynecastle team would rather forget. Hearts are privately critical of the refereeing, but there's no defence for the lack of discipline among their players. 4 red-carded inside 21 mad minutes of the second half. That was an entire back four suspended for the Coca-Cola quarter-final against Celtic 3 days later, and no one gave Hearts much of a chance. But they showed amazing resilience, and John Robertson's goal deep in extra time was the winner. Hearts' hands haven't been on the League Cup or indeed any major trophy for 34 years. The players celebrated a 1-0 win against Kilmarnock at Hampden. Norrie Davidson scored the only goal, and Jim Jeffries wants the record books rewritten.
It's getting people to believe that they can go in there and can get a victory. And maybe with the young boys on the side last year, it's all right speaking about it, but maybe on the day they just froze that wee bit and didn't believe it. But we've got a lot more experience to the side now, and I feel that we're better equipped now to go into a final, whether it be against Rangers or any other team. And as I say, that wee experience will stand us in good stead.
I think it's a good opportunity for us to forget last time, because it was not a good game for us. They played very well. We did some mistakes, missed the first one. So we think we can beat them, and but it should be very hard because it's Rangers in front. They have 8 titles in a row, so they are top of the league. So it should be a very hard game, but we can beat them.
I think it's a better squad which has made everybody play, you know, up to the better standards. You need that competition on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so as come to Saturday, you're not guaranteed a place and everybody's working hard, so everybody's fitter, everybody's got a bit more quality about them, and it's just generally a better squad.
That was an arm pull. The leg pull came in last Saturday's Edinburgh derby in the form of a Rangers undercover operation. The spy who came in from the west and out of the costume was Ali McCoist. Hearts hope to wipe the smile off his face tomorrow.
There's one thing Hearts can count on at Celtic Park: respect from the opposition. The Edinburgh side have featured more than most in the thoughts of Rangers throughout 1996. Demoralised by the champions in the Scottish Cup final, infuriated by affairs in a league confrontation at Ibrox, and now they come head to head tomorrow.
They'll be desperate for success, but they'll not be any more desperate than we are in the dressing room. I thought they were a good side last year. They did disappoint me in the cup final. They probably didn't play as well as they can. But I think they're an even better side this year, and we're really going to have to at the top of our game to get a result.
Do you think maybe some people are writing them off this week?
No, nobody in our dressing room anyway. We're not complacent. We know what we've got to do. We know we're going to really have to be on top of the game, have the right approach to it. And then hopefully if we do that, then we can get a result and bring the first trophy of the season.
Winning has been a familiar feeling for Rangers since Walter Smith took over, but for the manager, the sheer and utter joy of winning a trophy is never diluted.
I think there's a general trend in Scottish football to disregard the domestic scene and the victories that we gain. Maybe Rangers being the case in the sense of the number of trophies that we've won. But once you're there and you get through a semi-final and you know that you've got a final to look forward to, then it is a big game in everybody's eyes. The place, Ibrox, is geared to success, and we would hope that, you know, on Sunday we can get some of that success again, and everybody here is still greedy for it.
You're expected to win every game here, and it's something that I'm not saying I wasn't used to at Tannadice, but the results here, the fans expect so much from you every game, and it's something you've got to do every game. Pressure every game at Ibrox, Chick. No, it's one that you look forward to. I don't think you can hide away in front of 50,000 Rangers fans and no show what you can do, but if you're showing the grit and determination, then they'll support you all the way.
The Richard Gough Farewell Tour hits its latest port of call tomorrow. He's played his final European game at Ibrox. Now it's his last Coca-Cola Cup final. But despite the emotion of it all, the captain's not for turning in his decision to pack it all in.
No, Chick, you know me, once I make a decision, you know, that's pretty much it. Every time I play in a cup final for Rangers is an emotional occasion for me. I just hope we can get the right result. You know, I've stated I'd love to finish my last season here by winning the treble, and this is the first leg of that. So I'll be doing everything in my power to make sure we get, to make sure I get my hands on that trophy Sunday. I don't want to stand in anyone's way, especially younger players coming through and be here at 36 and playing, codging on my walking stick and that. These young boys have got to come in and play, and I don't want to stand in their way.
Just at knowing you as I do, that I felt that even if you felt down inside you'd made the wrong decision, you just wouldn't admit it.
No, but you know, I haven't made the wrong decision. You know, it's time for a new chapter in my life, and it's time for people to come in, and it's time for Rangers to move on as well. And Mr. Murray's got big plans for the club. A lot of changes. There'll be a lot of new people here next year. A lot of the old people who have been here won't be here, and it's time for change. I mean, I've enjoyed my time thoroughly at the club, and I'm sure the club will still go from strength to strength.
We talked to Richard Gough and about the possibility in his mind that maybe he'd made the wrong decision by retiring at the end of the season, but
I think he's made the right decision. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
He's been a magnificent captain for you.
He has. I was just saying earlier on, Chick, in all seriousness, I've been very fortunate in the past 10, 12 years to play with two skippers like Terry Butcher and Richard Gough. Absolutely magnificent leaders of men, both on and off the park. And Gough is certainly, in the last few years, he leads by example in the dressing room, and he certainly leads by out there in the park, and it's just been an absolute pleasure to play alongside him, because he's been an absolute credit to himself in the game.
McCoy still has his own special League Cup final memories, not least this spectacular effort against Hibs 3 years ago. He clearly videoed Sportscene's coverage.
I think Gordon Strachan was doing the commentary, I was just coming back from the broken leg, and he was more concerned about my landing, but he was quite pleased I had a giant marshmallow attached to my backside, he said. So that was certainly a great memory for me. I was really pleased with that one.
We should know better than to ever write you off, but how long can this go on?
I don't know, I'm just taking it hour by hour, I'm not even taking it day by day. But I just want to play, you know what I'm like, I just want to play as long as I can and score goals for as long as I can. And I aim to do that. If I just cross my fingers and remain injury free, I still feel, I genuinely feel there's a few goals left in me yet. And it's just a matter of sticking away, because playing in a team like Rangers with guys like Laudrup, as I say, Gascoigne and people like that, are going to get great chances, and I feel I can convert them.
This League Cup's been a good tournament to you, hasn't it?
Oh, it's been a heck of a tournament for me. This is an opportunity to win my 9th winners' medal with 1 loser against Aberdeen. So I mean that's a fair old record, and of course with the added incentive of being back at Celtic Park, it's always nice to pick up silverware there.
Rangers have shown a devastating goals touch along the way to the final. Hibs crashed 4-0 at Ibrox. And Dunfermline were hit for 6 in the semi-final at Celtic Park. And curiously enough, Celtic Park has been good to Richard Gough.
Especially the last 2 cup finals we've been Aberdeen in '93 and Hibs in the League Cup final of '93 as well. I think the only Rangers captain to pick up 2 trophies at Parkhead. I'd like to make a hat-trick.
From the Hearts' point of view, they've gone 34 years without winning a trophy. Do you ever think to yourself privately, well, their time must come sometime?
Yeah, I'm sure it will come, and you know, the team that Jim Jeffries has put together is a good side. I mean, they've proved that by getting to the Scottish Cup final last year. They're through to the final again this year. Their time will come. I just hope it's not on Sunday.
Lots of intriguing aspects to tomorrow's big match. You can see it live on this channel. We're on there at 10 to 3, kick-off time 3:15. Rangers against Hearts, the Coca-Cola Cup final 1996. Billy, we can't talk about this final without referring back to the Scottish Cup final 6 months ago. How big a factor is that 5-1 Rangers win for both sides?
Well, I think it will be a big factor. I think more particularly for Hearts. They've got to conquer the big match occasion nerves, and really they didn't do it. They let themselves down, and probably they feel they let their fans down as well. That will help them because it will give them an incentive. But they really have got to conquer those nerves because they didn't do themselves any justice. Certainly the injury to Gary Locke inhibited them in many ways, but I think they've got to conquer those nerves first of all. And they've got a lot of players who have played at top level in other countries. But interesting to see how they handle it tomorrow.
Yeah, I would feel that they have to score the first goal.
Well, it would certainly help them, but I think they'll be happy. I think Jim Jeffries will set it out that the longer the game goes without Rangers scoring a goal might well suit them. It may well start to turn the Rangers fans that little bit, and if they get a bit edgy, that'll transmit itself to the team and correspond will do well. The other thing you've got to consider is that Rangers in the last cup final really had an astonishing victory, probably one they didn't really expect themselves. If they go in there with any form of complacency, I think that Hearts are capable of doing something in that situation. So it's quite intriguing. Quite intriguing.
You've picked out 4 players from either side for us, but that you feel could be especially influential tomorrow. Let's take a look at those. First on the Rangers side, Richard Gough we've been hearing from, of course, so important defensively, but also in attack.
Well, it's a great asset he has because he's so good at stepping forward and so powerful in the air that, you know, the goals that he scored for Rangers have been very important, but his leadership qualities are excellent. He's a tremendous captain, and you know he doesn't do everything perfectly. We see that one there.
But he's an inspirational figure. And of course the goalkeeper. What more can you say about Andy Gorham?
Gorham is superb. Often his saves are unspectacular, but they're very important. You know that he gets out. He's very quick at reading situations. He knows exactly what he wants to do, and he invariably saves. Like the 2 we've just seen. There's nothing spectacular about them, but vitally important, and that's where he's good. He keeps his concentration, knows that his job will come, and invariably does it well.
And in his own way, just as inspiring a figure as Richard Gough, obviously. If you're looking in the creative sense, you obviously have to talk about Laudrup and Gascoigne, who are genuinely exceptional players.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Laudrup, I think, he enjoys the big occasion. He'll certainly enjoy Celtic Park tomorrow. It's the type of pitch that he plays well on. He's got the ability to pick up space even when surrounded with defenders. No, I'm not convinced he's the greatest finisher, but nevertheless, his runs are terrific. Gascoigne, on the other hand, I mean, if he's in form and he is inspired, then I think he could set the whole place alight. I've had the wee feeling that he's been subdued recently, and you know, and I don't think it suits him all that well.
Yes, his well publicised problems off the pitch, I think, are having an effect on his play. I think, or have been recently, haven't they?
I think so. I really do think he's inhibited. I think that he's got to play with total enthusiasm and that little bit of aggression. He's not been shown that recently, and consequently, I think he tends to disappear from the game.
Absolutely. On the Hearts side, and you've picked out here, well, John Robertson, of course, is probably still the Hearts player most likely to grab a goal, and Stefan Pye, that's that very talented Frenchman.
Well, that's right. John Robertson has been a tremendous servant to them. Great ability. You know, inside the box, he doesn't take an awful lot of time to make up his mind. He gets on the end of things, and the goals he scored are down to quick thinking, that little bit of instinct inside the box, and good quick feet.
And Stefan Pye, who starts this move and then finishes it in the semi-final.
Well, this is tremendous, and you know, you see the ability he's got. He's good vision, good control, good finishing power there. And even this one, Jim makes it a photographer's delight with that save. But having said that, you know, he's got great ability. I just feel that he doesn't get himself into the goal-scoring areas often enough. And I'd like to see him, and I'm sure Jim Jeffries would want to see him get into those goal-scoring positions an awful lot more.
The other two Hearts players you wanted to talk about, Billy, Gary Mackay, who's one of the great one-club servants in Scottish football, and Gilles Rousset, who we had from there, who made that awful blunder, and it was the only thing he did wrong last season, really, the cup final mistake,
well,
wasn't it?
I think so. I think he's been a tremendous asset to them. Tremendous acquisition by Jim Jeffries. Big, tall, agile, quick, brave. You know, I think he's old enough and experienced enough to get over that cup final, and he'll be delighted he's getting another chance. Gary Mackay, superb midfield, works hard, gets up, supports his attack, always prepared to have a shot or two, gets himself in good positions, and just a general been a very good servant to Hearts through the years, and obviously they'll be very important to him tomorrow. Absolutely.
Hearts, of course, have made a few changes from the team which lost in the cup final. There's perhaps a few older players around. They were putting a lot of faith in the kids in the cup final. That's maybe in their favour as well.
Well, I think so, and they look much stronger. I felt that when they lost Gary Locke in the cup final, all of a sudden all their preparations were tossed asunder. But I think he's got a far better squad now. He's got people on the bench that will be able to come on and do a job. I think it'll be a good final. I think it'll be a lot closer than people expect.
You don't think it's going to be 5-1 again on either side?
I doubt it very much.
Right.